Hello everyone. Earlier, we talked about how to use CocoaPods to install third-party libraries to our own application. CocoaPods is one of the dependency managers we can pick from. The other one is what we call Carthage. It is built by a small team in GitHub. The difference is that it is a decentralized dependency manager for Cocoa or iOS applications. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how do we make use of Carthage in order to use a third-party application. First of all, we want to install Carthage. Since Xcode 7, we are able to install it using Homebrew. You can run the command like this, brew install Carthage. And then after that, you can run Carthage version to check your current version. The latest version right now is 0.16. It means that it is still in beta. But as you can see, it is so popular in the GitHub repository, and a lot of the app projects have been switching to Carthage. Here, I have created a new project which I want to make use of Carthage to install some of the third-party libraries. For instance, I'm going to my command line again. In order to get started, I want to create a dependency file indicating what kind of libraries we'd like to use. We'll be using that, we'll be calling this file as cat file. By opening up, we can put down the library we would like to use. For example, if I'm going to use the library for SwiftDate, in order to use this library, first we want to check whether it is supporting Carthage. We're going to log on its installation guide. It tells that you can use Carthage, and the way to include it is by copying this line of code into the cat file. So the copy has some problem. It should be GitHub as specifying the source of this repository. And that's it for the cat file. Because Carthage is by default supporting dynamic framework only, and you do not need to specify your target application's version in the cat file. It will simply download the source code of this repository and build it into a framework using the Xcode command line, Xcode build. It creates the framework and will be including that framework manually to our application. For now, I will just keep it simple. This is the only library I'm going to include. So I just like to save it, exit it, and then go to the next step, which is to really download it and build this. Say I can use Carthage update. If you want to check what this means, you can simply put Carthage and it shows the available commands. Update here means it is updating the source code from the repository, and we build this into the framework for the purpose of use in our target application. We can put a Carthage update here and start running it, it will take a relatively long time, but what it does is fetching the source code Swift date and store it locally, and it will start building the scheme that the library provides. By default, it will build all the schemes available, and in this case, Swift date is made for all the platforms, including iOS, OS X, tvOS, and watchOS. So it will take even longer time to build the frameworks for each of the platform. There is a way to specify, say I only want to build for iOS. You can simply put the option -- platform after here and put iOS. Simply like this. But right now, I will just leave it to finish and build all the platforms. After running some time, it is done. And let's take a look on the folder structure. This is our current project. It creates several new files and folders. There are two here. Cat file is what we created earlier, which will include only one line as the location for the project we are going to include. Cat file.resolved is created after running Carthage update. It will resolve all the dependencies if there is any and save it into this file. By committing this file to Git and other colleagues downloading this, they can just run Carthage update. Basically, it will read the this particular file and find the relevant libraries to download and build. There's also one folder created. The checkouts folder inside is the source code of that repository. It includes everything of that repository. It's simply doing a git clone of that repository to local. It will run the build and then create the frameworks into the build folder. If the library we are including can support multiple platforms, and we did run Carthage update to run these for all the platforms, it will create these separate folders and having the framework inside. As you can see, for Mac, it has the framework inside and it builds for the DSYM file. So just in case you want to have the stack trace in our system, DSYM file would help. So after this, we are going to include the library, basically this framework, to our target application. To do that, we first take a look on Xcode. We are still in the same project and the same workspace. In order to use the framework, we need to drag and drop the framework of choice to our project under the embedded binary section. So we are building a Mac application, so we are going to pick the one inside the Mac folder, drag this framework to embedded binaries. Finish. You will see the framework showing up in both embedded binaries and linked frameworks and libraries. And then we are going to switch to build phases and also copy the DSYM, the debug symbols, to our project. We can do our add new copy files phase, pick the products directory here, and then drag the ESYM file here, like this. Now I have just put the source code into View Controller, import the Swift date, and try to print out this. As you can see, the highlight color, the text color is different, and it means that it is provided either by our own source code or from the third-party library. If I click on it to see, you can see it is from the module of Swift date, and it is having a property of date. Now let's try to run it. If it runs successfully, it means the inclusion of a Swift date framework using Carthage is done successfully. Basically, if you have other libraries to use, simply add it to the car file, run the Carthage update, and then add each of the frameworks manually to our target application project, and that's the way to use Carthage. Should you have any question, feel free to leave me a comment, and other than that, I will see you in the next tutorial.